civil hospital in Mozambique in Africa. The patient had met an accident and his mouth was full of vomit and his own blood. I was supposed to, now why was I there? We were supposed to use an aspirator to clean out this before we can send him to an operation table. So, we can operate him. We couldn't do that, but the aspirator was fine. There was no electricity, just no power in the hospital. The only generator in the hospital was broken since last 3 years. And the patient died. I don't know who he was. I don't know his name. By the way, you have been listening to me for a minute. You deserve to know this. I'm not a doctor. The reason I was in that room because I am a master's in biomedical engineer. And anyone can be that. unless you know how I got there. My mom is a teacher in a public school in India, and dad never went to college. They still don't own a car. They never could buy a car just so that they can get an education loan to send me to America to get a graduate degree. And I got that. But for what? To stand in that room in Africa with a degree in hand and couldn't even do a thing? I failed. So that happened, and next day I realized, I cannot see this. I could have clearly fixed this generator. So I told, in fact, I had already failed, so I told Dhairya, this is amazing. You have already failed. There's nothing more left. You can't possibly fail anymore. You failed the day that person died. Now, I don't know how to fix a generator, but I told the doctors and nurses, I will fix this generator before I go back to America. So in next 2 months, I used to go to the hospital every day, and they used to ask me, Dhairya, is today the day when the generator is going to be fixed? The answer was no. And I was failing every day for those 2 months. Every day, my ego was slashed to the ground. It's everything done, it doesn't matter who I was. But just 1 week before I had to come to America again, they fixed the generator with my help. And it's working right now as I talk. And it was great. People assumed I'm a fixer. I fix everything. So I had a line outside my small office in Mozambique with people bringing their table fans and DVD players for me to fix. I couldn't fix that. I tried. But the day I was leaving from Africa to come back to America, they asked me, Dhairya, are you going to be Kwamba was my Portuguese name. Are you going to be coming back here? Because I don't understand so much Portuguese, I said yes. And they said, so you are now going home. I'm like, I told them I'm going home now. So they're like, oh wow, so you're going India. And I'm like, that struck me. I'm going Philadelphia. I just said I'm going home. And I realized, yes, Philly is now my home. So I came back here. I told my professor about this. I'm like, that was a great learning experience, but now I'm frustrated being in America while people are complaining about the sugar in their coffee. There are bigger problems out there. I was full of negative energy. And my professor, I told him, I need to do something, tell me. And he's like, why? Why do you want to do something? And I'm like, because my school degree was good. It helped me to be intelligent. It taught me how to be successful. It never taught me how to be a failure. Africa taught me that. And as a child, we all remember playing with the sand and getting our hands dirty. While I was there, I didn't know how to fix a generator. The only thing that held me back was I didn't want to get dirty. And now as we grow out as an adult, we don't want to get dirty. So I told my professor, I want to bring back that childlike learning, joy, where we don't care about getting dirty anymore. I want to create this learning for university students to go out there, to go out to Africa, to go out to India, immerse themselves for an international cultural learning experience outside classrooms. So they don't just stand there. I've done my standing. I don't want any other student to stand there looking at things getting broken. So I started working on my startup organization called Ycenter. And we offer international learning experiences to students because I don't want anyone to stand anymore. And while I'm doing this since last 6 months, I've been meeting a lot of people to get this off the ground. And some of them are present here in the room, thankful to them. But as I'm meeting these people, a lot of them, they tell me, why don't you go to San Francisco? Why don't you go to New York or Boston? That's where startup scene is hot. And I realized Philly is this is my home now. And I want this to be home for my startup company, for Ycenter. I remember last 3 years going to Drexel for my classes in each of those buildings, taking train from 30th Street Station, sitting on the banks of Schuylkill River, climbing that rocky steps in our Philly Art Museum. This is my home. I want my company to be here. I'm not moving anywhere. And why should I move? No, I'm asking you. And you. Why should I move? Today, my startup company might move out of Philadelphia. I can go somewhere else where there's more capital, more resources. But it's my startup. Tomorrow there'll be a bigger organization. Then there'll be schools. And because their schools are gone, the children are gone. Children are gone, families are gone. To find better opportunities. That's what we do. We go where we find opportunities. And one day, you will wake up to find you're the only one left in the city. So help me to start my company and have the home right here in Philadelphia. I want to connect with people who invest in socially responsible ventures. If you know universities, help me get there. I want every university student to get this experience. And more importantly, I don't want anyone to just stand there when things are breaking apart. Get your hands dirty. Get things fixed in your house, your neighborhood, and your city. Wait, my city.